Yeah, well,
what do we do?
When I confronted the PUC here in Pennsylvania, what I did was, I called it like it is, the criminal enterprise. It protects the, the powers that be. And with its racketeering activities, the protection racket for them. And it's by their own definition.
I'm in agreement
that they use.
I'm in agreement. They're the biggest criminal organization operating. You and I have we're not in disagreement there. Is what I'm saying.
Not.
So again, how do we use what we're discussing here to our benefit in moving forward?
If I may share my screen, I can kind of give you a hint here.
Can I jump in, please?
Sure.
Nikki, I'm glad that you and Lewis feel like you're developing a consensus, but I'd like to point out to Lewis that I think there's some evasive problems. Consensus is really evading us on the fundamental issues. I think you, Lewis, and I, and probably John Root, and a number of others that are more into grassroots empowerment are of a different mindset. I thought I heard Nikki say that she wants Mr. Trump to wave a magic wand, declaration of emergency or something, and to cure these economic problems. And I think her implication thereunder was that she was apprehensive about building a consensus with us on this agenda of discharging debts at the grassroots level.
That's what my case coming up on Monday is all about, is discharging them at a grassroots level and with the courts here. But as for, reconciling the debt since 1964, 65, 71, whenever silver was totally removed in 71, I guess it was, then, pay back to every man, woman, and child. And I'm not sure Trump would be the one that does it. It would have to be done with a consensus by the legislative branch of government.
If I might, that's a different discussion.
Oh, yeah.
What I believe Lewis and I and John Root.
Charles, may I just go ahead and read one paragraph so that put closure on what Lewis and I were talking about?
Can I get a response from Lewis? Can I get a response from Lewis here, and then I'll agree to allow you to read your paragraph?
Yeah. Okay.
Lewis?
I have no issues with that. I'm open to all additional information. I yield.
May I continue then?
Well, I think it's off point from what Lewis and I and John Root were focused on. But go ahead, Nikki.
Yeah, no, this is just with the PUC, the Public Utilities Commission. And in 2011, I had a right to know. And the response to the right to know regarding the PUC and how it was set up. The person who responded said, with respect to Part 2 of your request seeking the documents for the authorization for the formation of the Public Utility Commission, this is what I had in my right to know. Please be advised that the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission was established by an act of the Pennsylvania Legislature, Act of 1937. And she goes on to, cite different things about that. Prior to the creation of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission, the Pennsylvania Legislature had created the Public Service Company Law, Act 1913, July 26th, Public Law 1374, repealed to regulate what were then known as public service companies. So what I'm saying to Lewis is look for your public service companies, or if they're called the Public Utility Commission, look for that and, do a right to know or something like that to find out, where all this, chain of custody comes from. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
And with that, I yield. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that.
Right.
Thank you, Nick.
Can't help but volunteer that I think that's a different line of thought than what we were talking about grassroots discharging debts through the use of the Uniform Commercial Code. Am I in error there, Lewis?
Well, it was different. However, it might be related because when it comes down to it, that is something that might be used in one of their administrative courts to call their attention to their rules. So we were talking about discharge of debt, but if they did not recognize a negotiable instrument, that would be one of the authorities called on. So I guess it's all related. It's just time consuming.
Could be a quick win.
What's that?
That looks like that forum could be a quick win without very much organizational structure. You can get a quick win with what Niki was talking about.
Well, a quick win if challenged. See, that to me is what I call a bullet in the chamber. When I like to say, hey, you go into one of these courts armed and you need bullets in your gun. If you're going to go in there with a revolver, you want to have several bullets here, and that to me is a bullet. So if there was a presentment that was dishonored, then there are certain things that come into play. And those are what I call bullets in the chamber when you walk into one of those administrative courts. So, it may not have been direct, but for anyone that may listen to this call, either now or even in the future, and may be involved in something like that, I think it might be a valuable, jewel dropped on this call. So I appreciate it, and I yield.